Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do part 2 of my Destiny's Bounty floating Chinese restaurant. So first of all, a very quick recap on what we did in part 1, which was largely to clear the deck of all sorts of obstacles and bits and pieces and storage and grow boxes and bits of mast and the hole into the underneath layer and all the rest of it. We also made a hole in this sort of side structure that goes along to accommodate an entrance, and we created this lovely gangplank with decorated banister, signs and Ming vases for decoration. Now, one thing I did in between part 1 and now is I did add another section in here at the back, because I'd moved the bit that was holding it along to here because it fit well and would therefore match with the near side, where I had to do that for structural reasons. But it did look a bit bare and I didn't think I wanted an entrance on both sides, so I've put in another setup there. It's very slightly different because of the pieces I had available, but it does exactly the same job. So that's looking very neat now and is in a perfect setting for me to populate with guests and so on as this part 2. So before I do anything more, I'm just going to retake off the masts and all this dangling stuff just to give me a lot more visibility. Now I'm also going to put this structure to one side. This will all be moved from this mock-up onto the real life quayside when we get up to the Lego room. But I want to introduce you to all of the pieces and people that we'll be using as part of this set. And the first one is a recent one. It's the Series 19 Monkey King, who I thought could be the entertainment for the evening's festivities. So you'll probably be very familiar with him, but he's really good fun. And I thought he could be doing a little traditional dance. I've got also as the hostess for the restaurant this lady here, who's got the torso and dress piece from the Chinese New Year set 80101 from this year, and she's also got the lucky envelopes that you give as gifts at Chinese New Year, but I thought they could represent flyers for the restaurant or menus maybe, and she's in charge of those and handing them out, and there's a spare one there as well. So I've got her. I've been collecting all these bits for months, so I'm really looking forward to using them. Then I have got some waiters, and for the waiters I'm using this setup. This is a Ninjago figure based on the character of Ham from the Ninjago City Chase set. That's 70607. I just bought 3 of the leg pieces and 3 of the torso pieces, and 3 of these traditional hats, so I could make 3 different faced waiters. And you can see he's also holding a dragon patterned bowl, which comes with another Ninjago series minifigure. And I actually got from a purchase, it was a bit of an extravagance, but I bought 10 of those from somebody who probably got them from a Lego store as part of the make a minifigure or something like that, because otherwise I don't understand how they've got so many. But anyway, so I've got him with nice sort of longer black hair and a bit of a quizzical look. Got another one who looks a bit annoyed, quite frankly. Same get-up. And he's carrying a large platter with a fish on it. This is one of the food tiles from the Chinese New Year set again, 80101. And I thought that these, because these waiters are all a bit dirty, I don't know if you can see on the torso, there's sort of grubby patches and so on. I'm sort of pretending that these waiters are very overworked and underpaid, and not very happy with their job. So they're probably a bit annoyed at having to wear this very stereotypical uniform as well. But nonetheless, so there's 2 of them. And then the third one, he's also not particularly impressed with working here either, and he's pouring some wine. So there we go. So that's the staff. Actually, no, there's one more member of staff, and that's the chef who might be looking out of the kitchen door to see if everyone's enjoying themselves, and he's menacingly brandishing a rather large kitchen knife. And again, he's quite dirty and stained, and he's actually the figure called Severin Black, who's part of the Ninjago City set, 70620. So I really like him, and he's got crabs on his torso there, and he looks rather smashing if you ask me. A plant from this set originally. Loads of dark green chairs as a contrast to all the reds and browns. Then tables full of food. Lovely, lovely. So here's a table rammed with food. And these are all the tiles from that New Year's set. And I've got all these bowls, the dragon bowls. And they've got the rice pieces. The rice pieces aren't connected because there's no stud in the bowl. And this obviously is going to cause me massive problems moving this boat around. Because obviously all these things will fall around or go into some crevice somewhere. It's hard to get them back. So I think I'm going to keep them in there. I own them, so I don't know what else I'd use them for if I don't use them here. Another table. This is a table that's going to be empty, vacant. So it's got fully eaten food and empty bowls and an empty bottle of wine. Here's another one with a big hot pot. That's a big sort of deep pot full of casserole meat and vegetables and things, so that's really nice. Teapot, more rice. See, there's a tile upside down already, and more pieces. So we've got the dim sum and some, I don't know what they are, dumplings and spring rolls. Somebody else has ordered the fish. Seems these tiles want to be upside down. Now, I did have even more food pieces, but as you can see, I've pretty much rammed the tables full of food. So I decided to hold back this one with 2 crab on and these ones with the shrimp on, because I can easily use those at my hidden side shrimp shack, because it's got crab on the sign and it's obviously selling shrimp because it's a shrimp shack. That's quite hard to say. So I'll hold these back, and I don't think it'll be any loss for what we're trying to do here. So now all I need is some couples to be dining at this rather fancy restaurant. First couple, a young pilot who's taking his girlfriend out on a date. And obviously he's really happy because maybe the food has just arrived. Another date, but a slightly older couple. We've got the head of the fire department, who's apparently called Freya MacLeod from set 60231. And a guy who I think looks exactly like Sean Connery in his James Bond days, in a rather fantastic dapper suit. So there we go. I was going to put him in my casino, which is a video well worth checking out if you haven't seen it already. It's a very, very old one, probably about 10th one I did. But he didn't make it. Then I've got a couple of people on a business dinner in their pinstripe suits. And 2 Ultra Agents, and they're on a date as well, taking a break from saving the world against supervillains. So we've got Kyla Phoenix and Trey Swift. So they are going to also be having a date. And you can see that she's got some sort of metal things on the side of her head, which is probably some sort of futuristic communications device. And he's got fantastic sort of, hopefully not X-ray, specs. Good. Right, so I just need to get all of this excellent, good quality stuff onto this deck. And then the whole lot into the Lego room. So far, so good. 2 tables in, one being cleared by one of our waiters, and the other waiter serving wine to the young couple on a date, who've just got a big fish. Champion. And there's Sean Connery with a full table of food. Oh my God, he's got a ring for Freya MacLeod. If she's anything like Mrs. Hood, she'll be trying to get that thing out of his hand and onto her finger as quickly as possible. And there's the 2 business people behind the light with another crammed table of food and some beers, probably Qingdao. And then we've got the Ultra Agents having their date. It seems the code would be if you're on a friends meeting, you would have beers, and if you're on a date, you would have wine. That's how it pretty much works as far as I'm concerned. And then we can have this third waiter bringing a huge fish to the dating couple. Brilliant. I've just got another light put on. There we go. Well, that's looking really busy, really crammed, really good. So I've got 2 more people. As I said before, I've got the hostess. I'm thinking, because this is already looking very full, of having her on the quay side, maybe near the bottom of the gangplank, sort of like that, and then she can be beckoning people on, or checking they've got a reservation and all the rest of it, just at the bottom of the steps. And then I need to put the entertainment on, and there's a lot of spare space at the front, so I thought I could have the Monkey King doing some sort of fun dance. Oh, he's got a tail. That sort of gets in the way, doesn't it? Let's see if I put him on one leg. I can balance him sort of like that at the front of the boat. I might rearrange him when I get it into final position, just so he looks good from all angles. Well, I've got some rice as well, spare, so that must be for those 2. Good. And then the mast needs to go back on here. Brilliant. I'm not sure there's going to be room for this plant though. After all that, maybe I'll put it on the top deck. Now, one more special thing, or rather 3 more special things. When I was planning this, I very much wanted it to look like a restaurant and not like just a Ninjago boat that was parked with a few people on the deck. And I think, to be honest, we've already achieved that to a large extent, because it's just a absolute cacophony of tables and hustle and bustle, and it looks really good fun. So I'm very happy with it already, but I got the pieces for 3 little sub-builds to add on. And they were all inspired by the Ninjago City set 70620 from 2017. And they were just little builds, because I'm not ever going to have that set in my city, I don't think, because it's very sort of Chinatown, very specific to Ninjago, and not very Brick Nottingham at all. So since I won't be having that set, I was thought that I would be missing out on certain aspects of it, which is a real shame. So I thought I could bring some of those aspects into this set. So I ordered the pieces to make the 3D crab sign from the crab restaurant that's part of that set. I also ordered the pieces to make one of the 3D squid signs to go with the sushi restaurant that's on the roof of that set. And just so I could have one on each side of this boat, I got another one as well. So very simple, easy builds with a few pieces, all available very easily from Lego Bricks and Pieces. And I just thought I could add these to the set. Now the crab sign, I thought I could easily add to a central position up here. And what I've done is I've taken out a 1x2 from the underside there. And I can stick in, because I've deliberately built this, it's got a 1x2 sticking out the back. So I can put that in. So this build technically is completely unchanged, but now it's supporting this crab. And then I've got a big 3D crab with pincers over the restaurant floor. I think you'll agree he looks rather fantastic. So on top of that, I thought I'd add a squid to each side. I thought I'd add that just about here. Just got a sort of ball joint on the back, so it can pretty much go anywhere and be angled in any direction. So if I can just manage to squeeze it in. Don't think my fingers are small enough. Let's see if I can use this as a bit of help. There we go. So we've got a squid sign on the side, and I'll put the other one on the other side, same place. Now from all angles you're going to be able to definitely tell that it sells seafood or specialises in seafood and is a restaurant. And it's really important to me that it looks great from all directions, because it's going to be very front and centre in my marina. And although it's very tall, I think it looks very good to have something sort of tall in the foreground, because you kind of have to look round it and see things different on both sides. So it really sort of encourages you to explore the city. So having these three very bright 3D signs visible from all directions, as well as these people and these wonderful dragon heads at the front, will just make this a feast for the eyes, I think. Right, I'm just going to add on the sails again. So we've got a completed set, and then I'm going to put it in a Lego room. And actually, there's one thing to mention with the sails. They were all facing like this, sort of front to back before, just like this one is up here, which is probably out of shot. There we go. And wind this up a bit. There we go. The problem with that is, as you can see here, when you're looking at the back of them, they're not particularly attractive. So in order to fix that, in order to make it look really good from all directions, I'm thinking of turning them all 90 degrees so they're all facing forward. And therefore, from the left perspective, the right perspective, or the front perspective, you're going to be able to see the pattern on the sails and really enjoy the colour. So I'm also going to do that. Oh, wow! How busy is that? How fantastic, and how many colours and shapes and everything else. I'm overwhelmed. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Right, this just has to go straight up to the Lego room. But I'm really impressed with what we've done today. I mean, we've added tables, food, customers, drinks, waiters, chef, hostess. Turned around these sails, added some entertainment, and added 3 lovely 3D signs. I think it's worked out rather well. If we ever do get to the insides of this, making a kitchen and all the rest of it, which I haven't got any plans for whatsoever at the moment, then it's going to be an absolute mammoth task to even get in the thing, and an even more complicated build. Maybe I just won't bother. This looks good enough if you ask me. Okay, up in the Lego room, and I've transferred all the stuff from the MOC quayside onto the genuine quayside. So we've got Mingvar's sign, gangplank sign, Mingvar's hostess lady. It is all very crammed in here with the stuff that was already here, like the bait shop and the surf shop and Paradise Cafe and the fisherman and the swimmer and so on. But I like my city very busy, so that's a good thing for me. Right, now for the pièce de résistance, we need to put in the Destiny's Bounty ship. And to do that, I'm going to have to temporarily take off this gangplank because it'll hit otherwise. Wow, what a tight squeeze. I would have done that on camera, but basically it took both hands, and I knocked a few things off, and well, it was quite tricky. So not to worry, it's all in place now. And the gangplank fits so snugly, it's unbelievable. We've got both halves of the banister, one mounted to the ship and one mounted to the gangplank itself, just combining absolutely seamlessly like they're one piece. And the vases and the signs, it's very congested, as I said, but it's very, very special, I think. I also think that with these nice tall masts with their lovely pretty sails on facing forward towards us, it's also a really good view. And the crab, but even more so the 3D squid, just really pops in colour and just adds so much to this area. But it's only when you get really in to the detail and the grumpy waiters pouring wine for the guests and the tables laden with food that you really appreciate it to its fullest. But I'm really happy with that. In fact, it might be one of the best things I've done. Let's look at some more angles and go handheld as well. And here's a quick view from the other side, so you can see the quay side edge and the fence all the way along. These are the steps down. And it pretty much fills it from absolute side to side, doesn't it? It almost doesn't need the fence because you'd be hard pushed to fall in between the side of the boat and the water. But I think the most impressive thing about this, given that this side's actually 6 bricks higher and the other side's 5 bricks higher than the water level, is that it's very in tune with the normal ground level and isn't like some Lego cities are, where the boat's just sat on the same base plates all round and the boat's kind of towering above the surrounding features. This one is actually more like real life, where it's much lower down and deck level is surprisingly similar to ground level, really. So moving from the sightseeing tour bus with all of you on, and you're admiring the new arrival in the city with its 3D squid sign, 3D crab sign, bustling deck with chefs ever in black, menacingly with massive knife, and the guests clearing away some empty plates. The dating couple, number 1, 2, and 3 around that side, and 3 waiters and the business people. It's looking rather fantastic. And like I said in the build room, it's very tall for the front of a setup, but I think that makes it very interesting, and that you have to look around it to see what's going on. So at the front we've got those lovely dragon heads. And we've got the Monkey King doing his performance. And past the fisherman, got the hostess with the Destiny's Bounty signs and the gangplank, which might just be the nicest part of it. And look at that. It looks really, really good. Well, it's a seamless fit with the top as well. A few steps up and then a gangplank down. And that's worked really well. And I've got another flower on the floor because whenever somebody's handing out flyers, everyone always seems to drop them just down the street. And just a wider shot for those who've asked for it. I will try and do a full summary video in due course. But we've got the harbour over there with a red jet, police jet and parachuting robber, DB Cooper, space station, wind turbine, row of modulars, including the car park, which is probably one of my favourite modulars. A few of the facades on the back row. We will be finishing that line with all the new buildings that I'm buying bricks for at the moment, going behind where the helicopter is. We've got some jets flying in formation, alien mothership, construction crane, and there's the tram just peeking between those two buildings coming down this tram line. We've got the marina in the foreground, all the boats, the Paradise Cafe and surf shop. Very colourful. And then we've got our first run of shops here leading up to the market square. with statues, and the bike shop. Construction site facade through there. That's a really good video. If you haven't seen that one, well worth having a look. Small corner station. More facades. Pulling out to the old town. We've got brick Nottingham Castle. In all its glory. Blacksmith inside, juggling jester. Armoury. King. Mock battle scene. I'm going to have to fill this castle in this area with loads of tourists, but I haven't got any cameras now, which is what I'm using to sort of signify them as tourists. And I did reorientate Bob's Kebabs and the coffee chain Hut. I added a third table, and you can see more of the Mario mural now. So hopefully that is a good balance between blocking it and having a permanently open space that can never be interrupted. There's my historic horse statue, which I really like. The water wheel on the River Trent. Road bridge, pedestrian bridge. Watch out for the crocodile. And then the old town buildings being the Tram pub or inn. And the tourist centre where all of you lot got on your sightseeing tours bus. And there's Mrs. Hood about to give a tour of the castle. So as this city becomes increasingly busy, it becomes increasingly difficult to put a tripod or a mini tripod in a good position and get a good angle. Goodness knows what it's going to be like in 6 months' time when I've finished filling the room. I mean, all the bit we just showed on the catch-up there, just having a good look round on what we've done so far, represents probably a third of the entire room size, and I'm planning to have it all populated to the same level of density as the areas I've finished. So look forward to that, but I won't, because I'm going to have to arrange lighting and tripods and things. It's going to be an absolute nightmare, to be honest. But anyway, it'll be good fun as well. So I do hope you've enjoyed the making of the floating Chinese restaurant as much as I have. I think it's been really fun, and it's been a really good result as well. So do stay tuned for more awesome Lego videos. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe as well. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, I think I'll be getting on with some of the shops near the bike shop, near the old town, and maybe even that subway. I know some of you are very keen to see that indeed. Anyway, see you next time!